Hello, wonderful beings. This is Milena. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the common traps of toxic relationships, and this ended up being one of my most popular videos. That is a little bit sad because that means that a lot of people are in toxic relationships, or at least they have the feeling that they might be. And I was also surprised at the number of women who actually watched the video. It was the grand majority, and usually my audience is pretty much balanced. Like I said in that video, it isn't about blaming the other person, because we are always co-creators in everything that we create in our own world, in our own life, in our own reality. And our job here is to see where our open doors are, what are our own belief systems that created that experience. Because even if we end this relationship now or exit out of it, there's a saying that says, wherever you go, you go. Basically, you bring yourself with you. You're always there. And that means that we bring the same feelings, the same worldview, the same belief system. And all of those things create and recreate and co-create with others our lives, our realities. And this is not about blaming yourself either, because blame in no way is any type of solution or brings anything good to the table. But it is how to take an honest look at ourselves and dig a little bit deeper to see what are some of our open doors, what might be some of our beliefs, what do we believe about ourselves, others, and the world that may have allowed that co-creation to come into our experience. So I'm going to mention just a few things. This list is not going to be exhaustive in any way, shape, or form because the scenarios are infinite. But there are some common themes and things that we can look at so that we allow ourselves to create a very clear and different foundation for creating our next relationship, for example. And most importantly, the relationship within ourselves. If we are in a toxic relationship, usually one of the first things to look at is where our own points of unworthiness or worthlessness are, or where we feel like we might deserve something like that. Now that's at a subconscious level. At a conscious level, we usually don't think that we have these beliefs, but when we start digging deeper, then they start to come up. One of the things that's really helpful is to look at your relationships up until now and start looking at some common denominators. Now, usually the common denominator is you, but what are the things that you say and you do and you feel that you think is true throughout all of the relationships that you've had? And try to look at some of the common themes, because recently I had a conversation with a friend and it seemed like she was repeating a very, very similar loop over and over and over again. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. We've seen this situation a few times. Now tell me, did you do anything differently to what you did in those other times? And we sat and we looked at the situation and she said, well, no, not really. If we want to get a different result, then we need to change something in the way that we approach the situation, right? The way we look at things. If this is a common occurrence for us, there is something that we're doing, that we're creating. She was actually able to pinpoint fairly quickly what thing needed to be looked at and tweaked. And in just a few minutes the next day, things had shifted in that sense completely. Another thing that might be beneficial for us to look at and explore is what are beliefs surrounding relationships. Do we believe that it's possible to actually create a nurturing, interesting, loving, supportive relationship? Because sometimes we might start getting thoughts like, oh, they're all the same. There aren't any men or women who are this, this, and that. All of them are like that. Well, every single man in my life has been like that, or every single woman in my life has been like that. What are the chances? Maybe I'm cursed. Everybody has something. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect either. The only thing that changes is the stuff that you choose to be putting up with, and things like that. These are all subconscious programs that we have now brought to the surface to say, well, does this belief actually serve me? Because those beliefs are very much factors when we create our relationships like that. And if we do believe stuff like that, whatever it is that we create has to be a reflection of them. If we have strong beliefs, especially when they say all women, all men, then we know that these are artificial programs that are most probably not serving us and very much responsible for why we have created that particular relationship. Now, our beliefs, our traumas, our experiences are our own. The other person has nothing to do with them. They were simply a match for those. And that means that if we don't deal with them within ourselves, the next thing that we create is going to be very similar. Now, sometimes we create these codependent relationships, and it's also worth looking at what types of codependencies you may have created with this partner. Maybe you're financially dependent on them, or maybe it's certain things that they do for you, or you do certain things for them. When we have our list with our belief system, questioning ourselves about what are our open doors, how did we let that be, and transform those energies, then we are ready to make a decision about what steps we might want to take physically, whether to end the relationship, whether to do something different, whether to approach it with a completely different attitude. And let's not forget that any relationship, as much as it is about the other person, it's even more so about you, because the most important relationship that we have is within ourselves. And you know what they say, don't find someone that you can be happy with. Be that someone that you're happy with. And if you have questions about what are some things that you can look at, clear, and transform within you, book a session at askmilena.com. Don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter as well as the channel. And if you click on the bell below, you'll get notified of every new video which come out on Friday. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.